Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. A little quick update on the DC Extended Universe regarding Zack Snyder. He has done a couple updates for us in terms of little direction on Batman v Superman, little tidbits here and there. He said that his favorite Batman shot is when Batman comes out of the rubble at the end of Batman v Superman, and he's like a changed man because of Superman's sacrifice. And he also talked about the Flash. He posted a picture of the first time they're gonna take a picture of the Flash, I believe, in costume, and he mentions that he was about to have a concept for a new Flash costume at the end of the movie of Justice League, with the Wayne Tech involved in that. Of course, because someone was going to do the Flash movie, he wanted to respect that director, and I think that director at that time, he didn't know he or she ultimately became Rick Famuyiwa, and now it's the two gentlemen, Goldstein and Daly. But before then, he was going to do a concept for Flash having a new suit, but he wanted to give that opportunity to give the Flash his Flash costume for the next director for the Flash movie, because this movie, as like of all have been said before, is a prototype that Barry Allen had made up. It's not the real Flash costume. And so for people who didn't like that Flash costume, I guess you can be happy now that that costume is probably not going to be in the Flash movie. The Flash directors are going to have their own Flash costume. So that's kind of exciting for Flash fans who want to see a new costume, a different costume for their movie. It's coming soon. It's going to come real soon. So that's exciting in itself. He also posted a picture of the Trinity, the first time they all got together, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman for the first time on set, and he was able to take a picture of it, and it looks awesome. It is god tier fantastic. It is the first time you look at that, and they're together, just like in Batman v Superman, where they're together in that trailer, and you're like, oh my god, live action Trinity for the first time. This is amazing. I can't believe my life right now. And it really is such an amazing moment, and I'm glad he was able to capture that. I'm wondering if that was you remember when Zack Snyder had an interview and he released these two fan art pictures of Batman and Superman. He was talking to Kevin Smith about the Batman v Superman way back before the movie was released, before we even saw anything from Batman v Superman. And he said that Kevin Smith had said that he saw the Trinity together, and he was like, he couldn't breathe, and he was like so nerding out about that. So I'm wondering if that was the picture that he saw. Of course, Clay Anos did mention that he shot a different picture, but that one is one of his best one. So that is so cool. I hope to see Zack Snyder direct another DCEU in the future with all of them together, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Hopefully that could come back one day. Have magic happen all over again. That would be quite something. And it may be something soon, but he's been getting a lot of heat lately for the Fountainhead, and it's kind of cool to see just a couple people of celebrity type status to come to his defense. Elijah Wood, Frodo himself, actually responded to Birth Movie's death about. I think Birth Movie's death was saying something bad about Dawn of the Dead, which was Zack Snyder's first feature film, and which is a great, fantastic horror movie. I don't know why anybody would have any qualms about that, but Elijah Wood actually spoke up and said he said this. He said. He said, "Not this one, y'all. This is a damn good film. Also, stop picking on Snyder." And he also said, "Let the man make his films. We don't have to collectively love them." Exactly. And I wish more people would speak out for the guy. Zack Snyder, he just wants to make some movies. He just wants to make some films. Let the man make some films. I totally agree. Stephen DeKnight of Pacific Rim Uprising, Daredevil, even Smallville, he also came out when somebody had asked him, and he's a big fan of Zack Snyder. He said it before. He loved Man of Steel. He wished that Zack Snyder could do another Superman film. He said that before. Someone asked him this. He says, at Stephen DeKnight, "Sir, if given the opportunity or asked by Mr. Snyder himself, would you be willing to work with him? No one works for him. They only work with him on his next movie after The Fountainhead." And Stephen DeKnight says, "I'd help Zack Snyder mow his lawn if he needed it. Without the brilliant inspiration of 300, there would have been no Spartacus." Oh, I guess he also made Spartacus, so that's another thing. Very lot of inspiration from Zack Snyder in itself, and that is great stuff to hear. I wish more celebrities would back him up, and like they have before, but for some reason there's this weird hate going on. These bullies who champion like the rights and justice, and yet they're bullying a director. Maybe they gotta look a little bit deeper into themselves. Maybe they're the bullies. You are guys are not contributing to the thing, and you're actually making it a lot worse. This conversation about bullying. So I don't know. I love Zack Snyder. His movies are fantastic, and I really want to see him do more stuff, and I can't wait to see more of his work. I'm a huge Zack Snyder fan. I would say that probably the Gahul movie is probably my less favorite of all the other movies, but the kids kind of like that. It's visually appeasing, but my favorite. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I will never stop saying Batman v Superman is my favorite movie of all time, above everything. Above everything. I'm not kidding you. It is above everything. So anyway, but for people who are wondering, is this the end of Zack Snyder? And a lot of bloggers have said, this is the end of Zack Snyder's reign and stuff. And, maybe he wouldn't be so involved in the universe, but they can't take away from what he was already going to be credited with. He was going to work on Wonder Woman 2. He was going to be a producer on that. And it looks like that's still the case. Answering a question on Vero about Wonder Woman 2, if he's going to be a producer, he says, oh, yes. So that confirms he is still being a producer for Wonder Woman 2. Now, a lot of people are like, what is producer? How much does he get involved? A producer could get really hands-on in terms of the filmmaking process. Now, in Wonder Woman 1, he really did help, and Patty Jenkins had said this, that Zack Snyder had helped her with the action pieces, the action moments. He helped her with a whole lot of different things. She was very grateful for that. He did win an award, AFT for Wonder Woman, even though people were like, he's not involved in that, that's not involved. Well, he even wrote the story for Wonder Woman, so he was one of the writers for the story. It's going to be interesting because Jeff Johns is one of the writers for Wonder Woman 2, so I don't know if they're going to actually see each other on set or not, and that'll be quite interesting indeed. But yes, Zack Snyder is the producer on Wonder Woman 2. And a lot of, someone asked me, is that the same thing? Are they just going to give him like some kind of credit because he's, Zack Snyder, like how they give credit to Lord and Miller for Solo. And now if you don't know, for Solo, Lord and Miller was fired, but they were given executive producer credit for Solo. Executive producer credit is kind of more on the business side affairs, and a lot of times they just give an EP credit to like a vanity credit, just so that it has a little bit of honor there. Thanks for kind of setting this up or something. So they gave that to Lord and Miller. For in this case, Zack Snyder is producer. He's probably going to be actively a bit more involved in the producing, maybe more than how Christopher Nolan was involved in Batman v Superman. Christopher Nolan was more involved in Man of Steel, less involved in Batman v Superman, but he was still, I think he was an executive producer for that too, and also a producer. But we'll see. That's exciting to see that Zack Snyder is still involved in the DC Extended Universe in some shape or form. Now, how much more after that, that's going to be something that we would like to see. But I'm glad that he's not off Wonder Woman 2. He's still in Warner Brother pictures, and most likely, maybe, possibly, Walter Hamada says he's still okay with them. He's okay with them demoting everybody else, but still keeping Zack Snyder on as producer for Wonder Woman. That is fantastic, and so it's been kind of cool to see when Wonder Woman 2 pops up and you see produced by Zack Snyder, at one of them among the other producers anyway, and to see that his little bit of a little bit of his work is still within the DC Extended Universe, and hopefully for many more after that, and maybe one day can come back and direct another DC Extended Universe movie, or maybe we'll get to see the Snyder Cut. Who knows? But that's it for today for DC Extended Universe. I know not much there, but is some cool stuff happening with Zack Snyder. Some little tidbits from Vero for him, and to show that his work is still ingrained in the DC Extended Universe in some shape or form as a producer. So maybe we'll see more of that along the way. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.